Hi there, thank you so much for joining. My name is Michael, and I am starting my very first business using Amazon FBA. Now, I am really excited, but also very nervous all at the same time because I have never done anything like this before. I thought it might be a really good idea to go ahead and put together a series of videos as I go through the entire process so you can see all the things I do right and all the things I do wrong. And trust me when I say I am sure I will be making some mistakes. Hopefully not too embarrassing. My hope is that by the end of all of this, you have followed along and you've seen the entire process so you can have some realistic expectations about what it would be like if you started your own business with Amazon FBA. All right, cue the music and start the really cool animated logo. So today is a very big day because it is the day that I am taking my very first step with starting my Amazon FBA business. It's also my first video with YouTube, and it's also my first explosion. Okay, so my wife said that it's very important that I make these videos entertaining, and so it was her idea that make sure you put in some explosions or something so people don't get bored. Maybe my wife thinks I'm boring. Hey, if your wife wants explosions, you give her explosions. All right, so another big reason that I'm doing all these videos is because I really do feel like there are a lot of people out there like myself. I really do think there are people out there who just don't have a lot of free time to be able to start a business on the side. I mean, I work full time right now, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. My job's very demanding and I wind up having to work a lot of overtime, or I have to travel sometimes as well. And then I have my family. I have my wonderful wife who's supporting me as I do all of this. I have my two amazing kids who are very busy themselves. My son and my daughter are both involved in sports. They're both involved in classes outside of school. So both of them are very busy. And of course, I'm involved in those things too. So I clearly have plenty of time to do a side business as well as sprinkling on top my own YouTube channel.
Do you gamble, Lieutenant? Every time I order out.
The point is that whether you have a family or you're single or you're incredibly busy, maybe you're retired, starting a business is a scary thing. You're worried about going ahead and trying to put money and time towards something. And there's that fear, that deep inside fear, like, can I really do this? Am I going to lose all my money? Am I going to put in all this time and effort only to wind up losing all my money and failing? So I think these videos are important because I want to show people that it is possible to do this. Or maybe you aren't those things. Maybe you're just frustrated. Like for me, I've done a lot of research looking into different businesses that I wanted to invest in to kind of create more money for me and my family. And so I've been Googling, I've been on YouTube, I've listened to podcasts, I've taken classes. There is a lot of information out there, especially when you're looking at Amazon FBA. Amazon FBA, as soon as you start looking into it, you get inundated with a ton of different videos, advertisements, gurus, people out there saying that they can help you quit your 9-to-5 job by setting up your own Amazon FBA business. People claiming you can make $1,000 a day doing that. And those people who do that, I'm sure they're capable, but how much of that is really, really hard work?
It's the brain pain, Coach.
So I am making these videos for people just like me. People who aren't already ultra wealthy and have done all this, but going through all those different steps so you can see how to do it yourself. Now, I'm sure if you're joining and watching this channel, you've already looked into Amazon FBA quite a bit. And if that's true, that's great. But maybe you're brand new and you're still trying to learn what it is exactly. So what is Amazon FBA? Amazon FBA stands for Fulfillment by Amazon. And basically what it means is that you, as the seller, creates an account on Amazon. Now, when you have your account created on Amazon, you're going to go out and you're going to find a product that you want to sell. You take that product and you go ahead and list it on Amazon. Once you get everything shipped over to Amazon, they handle the selling of the product on their website. They handle the customer service. They handle the boxing up of the item. They handle the shipping of the item, the delivery of the item. They handle everything after that, even returns. So Amazon FBA, as you can see, is something that can be incredibly profitable. But of course, keep in mind, Amazon charges a fee for everything.
Yeah, what can I do for you?
Show me the money.
And so essentially that's how Amazon works. Now, if you decide that you do want to do Amazon FBA, now you have to decide on something else. You have to decide how you want to sell on Amazon. And there's actually a couple different ways. The first is wholesale. Basically, with Amazon wholesale, you pick a product that already exists. For example, this Funko Pop. So this Funko Pop is Peacemaker, which is who John Cena plays in the movie The Suicide Squad.
That's where they hold him flat. Nothing like a bloodbath to start the day.
So if you wanted to go ahead and sell these on Amazon, you just have to find a supplier and you have to purchase a bunch of the product. You know, maybe you buy 50 or 100 or 200 or something like that. Now you're going to ship this product over to Amazon and then you're going to list it on your account. Once you have it listed, then you're just going to go ahead and sell these online. Amazon takes care of packaging and delivering them after people buy them, and if anybody wants to return it, they handle that as well.
I'm worried, Ray. It's getting crowded in there, and all my recent data points to something big on the horizon.
Now, there is a few downsides to wholesale with Amazon. For instance, because this already exists, pretty much anybody can buy these and list them on Amazon, and they can all vary as far as cost is concerned. So for instance, say you bought these for $5 a piece and you're selling them for $20, and you're hoping to make $15 per each item. Now that's very possible, and that's a very good amount of money that you can make, but it doesn't stop somebody else from coming in and doing the same thing. Or if you're really unlucky, somebody can come in and put these things online and charge less. Now, as people start to buy them, people generally buy the ones that are cheaper, right? So you have a choice. You can either keep your price the way it is and hope people are still buying them, or you can try to undercut that person and charge less than they're charging. Now, the big downside of that is that as John Cena is sitting over there at Amazon, you're paying for storage fees for them to hold it. So obviously, if you're not selling these, you're actually losing money because you're paying Amazon to go ahead and store them for you. So wholesale is great, and it can work very well, and it can be profitable, but it does have some risk as well. Now, the second option you have is something called private label. And private label is where you go online and you use some kind of a software like Helium 10, which is incredibly popular. You go online and you start looking up products that make sense for you to sell. Something like this copper mug that people use for like Moscow mules and alcoholic beverages or other kinds of drinks. So you would go ahead and you would look up this product and you would try to find ways that you can sell the same thing but be different than the other people who are selling them. Maybe you would change the handle to be more round, or maybe you would sell them as a pair instead of one. You can include things like a straw or a recipe book, things like that to make your product stand out from everybody else so that you are also selling products. Now keep in mind, there's going to be other copper mugs on the website for Amazon, but that's okay because you want competition within that space. And you don't need every single person who wants a copper mug to only buy yours. You only need a percentage of those people to buy one. The important thing is that there's a demand, and there's people out there trying to buy cups like this. And as long as they're buying them and you're one of the people with a unique listing that's very popular, then you can make a lot of money selling something like this. And that's the idea behind Amazon FBA, and specifically behind Amazon's private label version. Now, when you do get this from a supplier and you change it and you change the packaging and you do all these things, you're essentially creating your very own branded product. And that's what makes Amazon so great. All right, now you've decided, hey, Amazon FBA sounds pretty cool. I'm in. I want to do this. You do have some additional decisions to make on how you're going to go about doing it. So for me, I'm going the private label route. So that means I'm going to start looking for products that I can sell on Amazon that I can kind of create my own private label with. How do I do this, right? So there are some different things you have to consider. Now, if you've never done this before, the first thing you can consider is pretty straightforward. It's the free route. That's where you go on YouTube, you listen to podcasts, you go Google, you Google things, you get your Google on. You go to those places and you start looking up, how do I start my own Amazon FBA business? What does it entail? What are the step-by-step directions? Now you can go about doing it that route, but obviously there's a lot more risk for you to do something wrong or make more mistakes. So the free route is great because it's free, but it might actually cost you more money down the line. Now, the second option is something where you're basically going online and you're finding some other courses that you can take. You're willing to spend a few dollars to go ahead and maybe get a virtual course where they do have step-by-step directions, things you can follow, continue to rewatch, that has a lot of the information already documented and set up for you so that you can start your own Amazon FBA. Now, these are very helpful. They're very valuable. Some of them even give you the option of talking to somebody if you start struggling or having some problems. The courses can run anywhere from $500 to $3,000. And most of them are set up with that fee, and it's a lifetime fee, meaning that you should always have access to their information whenever you need it. The next is essentially like a partially do it for you type of scenario. And what that means is that it's almost like they do a lot of the work and you do some of it. So they're kind of hand-holding you through the whole process. Generally, they're giving you the courses that you want and all the different information available to you on a website of some kind, and you're able to access that whenever you need. But then they also have people available to talk to. Maybe they do some of the actual work themselves, like maybe they help you pick out the product, or maybe they work with you on getting a supplier or getting your actual brand set up, like pictures for your product or even the actual listing. Basically, this partial service really depends on who you're hiring and how much they're willing to do. So just make sure that whatever service you do go with, that you're checking on those things ahead of time to see what they're offering.
You ready? The name on the middle of that steering wheel should tell you that I was born ready, Shelby.
Next, you have your Do It All For You program. So this is basically a company that you give a whole bunch of money to, and it usually ranges right around that $30,000 mark. You give them the $30,000 and they do everything. They find you your product, they go ahead and put it together for you, they find you a supplier, they get everything set up with Amazon, they put on your listing, they do it all. Basically, once the product gets sent over to Amazon, they hand it over to you and it's yours to manage. And they guarantee that you're going to make a certain amount of money when you start. Now, obviously, there's a lot less risk there, but they go ahead and do everything for you. That is the I do everything for you option. Now, personally, I don't have $30,000, so that is not something I'll be doing.
How's the grid holding up?
It's not good.
Tell him about the Twinkie. What about the Twinkie?
Which leads us to our final option, and that's where there are actual websites out there that literally sell the companies that are already set up selling products. So there might be a person out there that's already selling a product that's making roughly between $2,000 to $5,000 every month. And they have all the financial data that backs that up. Now they're selling that product to you for a cost, and then you just take it over. It becomes your product that you're selling, and you immediately start taking on all the money that that product makes. Now these products are already set up for you. They've already got a ton of reviews. This means that that product should already be very successful. That means it should have a long list of reviews where people are positively reviewing your item. It should also mean that when people search for a product like yours, that you come up on the first page of the results with that product as well. So by buying that, you're already getting a product that's already established and doing well. And your job at that point is either to continue to manage it or to go ahead and turn around and try to scale it up, make it bigger, make it better, actually make more money than it's actually pulling in. Now these products are great, but the rule of thumb basically is if it's making a certain amount of money, you're gonna pay about 3 years worth of what that cost would be. So if it's making $2,000 a month, you would expect to spend about $80,000 to purchase that product. So obviously it can be very expensive, but you're already buying something that's guaranteed to do well for you as long as you do all your research.
Santa's coming to town! Santa! Oh my God! Santa here? I know him!
All right, so that's pretty much all your different options as far as the different ways to go about setting up your business with Amazon FBA. So now you might be asking, Mike, that's great, but what the heck? Why Amazon FBA? What are the pros and cons? What should I be considering? So that is a very good question. So here are my pros and cons about what I think is good and bad about Amazon FBA. Now keep in mind, there might be some other people who have some different opinions or some different views on it. So definitely do your homework, look at other people as well, and get a good idea of what makes sense to you. Now the pros with Amazon. Well, number one, it's Amazon. They are gigantic. I mean, they are the leader in e-commerce right now. They're a $1 trillion company. They have over $680 million worth of sales every single day. So when people want to buy something, that customer base is already there. You have a place to sell something on one of the biggest platforms on the internet. So that's a pretty big positive. Now, one of the other positives, of course, is the logistics of everything. Now, if you were to start your very own company and you are going to be selling products, you might have to hire somebody for customer service, or you might have to find a place that does the logistics, does the shipping, does all of those things. Amazon already takes care of that stuff for you. It's already established and it's very quick. Then you have investments. You can put in a very small investment to get started on Amazon FBA. I personally am starting off with about $5,000 towards the actual product itself. So as you can see, it's very easy to get started with Amazon FBA, and a lot of people have done it because it doesn't take a lot of capital to get started. And finally, it's competitive. People are already using Amazon, and there are a lot of sellers out there already. Now, I don't think competition is a bad thing. I think competition is a good thing. Obviously, if you have people who are competing against each other for somebody's business, there's a demand there. And as long as there's a demand and there are people buying, then you have the ability to do well on Amazon. Now, the cons. So one of the really big cons, obviously, is that you do need to have money to get started. You can't just go in and say, I want to start an Amazon FBA business and not really have any money to invest. You really do need to have some kind of money somewhere in order to get started. Now, the second thing is incredibly important. You have to have a good product, period. If you don't have a good product, if you don't put the majority of your effort into finding a really good product, you are going to have trouble making money. The truth is that Amazon has a lot of competition out there, like I talked about in the pros, but it's also a negative. If you pick a product that's very, very saturated, where there's way too many people involved and way too many people trying to sell the same type of product, you might struggle. So finding the right product is incredibly important, and you have to make sure that you get that right. Another big negative for Amazon is that Amazon has a very strict no questions asked return policy. So no matter what it is you're selling, if people want to return it for any reason, you have to accept that return. Another con is fees. Amazon's fees continue to go up. Amazon has fees for everything from selling items to actually storing the product themselves. And a lot of those fees will actually go up during the holidays, especially when it's Christmas or Thanksgiving and you have Black Friday. When sales are up and they know they're up, Amazon charges more money. Another thing is hard work. So there are a lot of sites out there that are going to tell you that Amazon FBA is great and you can make a lot of money and it's super easy and it's not a very difficult thing to do. That's not true. Amazon FBA is a lot of hard work and it is time consuming. You do have to put a lot of the work up front and you have to continue to work on the product after it's been released to continue to maintain your sales. So despite what some people might tell you, Amazon FBA is a lot of hard work. And finally is that you are not guaranteed to be successful if you start your own Amazon FBA business. I mean, there's a lot of potential and you can do really, really well. There's some ability to make some really great money, but you are not guaranteed to do that. You have to put in the work and you have to be smart about what product you take and what product you decide to sell. So you have to be smart.
You can do it!
That's right, you can do it. I know, it all sounds really scary, right? And I agree, it does sound scary. I am actually scared doing this, but here's the thing, you have to start somewhere. Like when I first wanted to start playing basketball, you don't just sit around and watch basketball games and just expect to know how to do it. You have to get out there, you gotta pick up a basketball, you have to start dribbling and shooting and just trying to do it because that's how you learn and that's how you get better. So recently I took a course that was about investing and it was through somebody called Invest Diva. Now I'm not a diva, I guess you could call me a Devo, but it was done by a woman named Kiana Danielle. And it wasn't exactly the kind of course I was expecting. It was about investing, but not specifically how to invest, but it was more about investing in yourself. And so I kind of took that and I did start looking in different businesses. Now, if you're interested in a similar course like that, I did go ahead and put that in the links down below. Go ahead and check her out if you want to. So her course gave me the confidence that it's okay to start somewhere. It's okay to learn as you go. And I would rather take that money and invest in something that has the potential to make me more money than say, I don't know, buying stuff I don't really need. Here's the thing, I love buying and collecting stuff. I collect autographs, I collect movie posters from the theater, the double-sided ones that are really cool. I collect Star Wars stuff. My kids and I, we collect and build Legos all the time. So my goal was to stop buying a bunch of stuff I don't need and start using that money to invest so that I can get more money that actually helps me with those different collectible hobbies. I mean, do I really need an autographed Josh Brolin Infinity Gauntlet?
I am inevitable.
Don't answer that. I already know what my wife would say. So really, I just want to make it clear that this is not a commercial of any kind. This is not me getting paid by anybody to do this. This is literally just me deciding that this is what I want to do and just documenting it as I go. So the thing I decided on very early is that I didn't want to just kind of do a step-by-step type of situation. I wanted to invest, but I wanted somebody to help me do it at the same time. Almost like having a mentor, so to speak. So I went ahead and decided I wanted to do the hand-holding version where I have some partial help, where they're going to help me pick my product and kind of get me in touch with the right people as far as getting everything set up.
Emmett, just given what's around you, build something simple.
Okay.
Like an awesome race car.
Great.
Go. Do you have the instructions?
No, you must create the instructions in your mind, my liege.
Huh, okay. Race car. Well, there's a lot of really cool stuff here. Don't see a wheel.
And obviously, as you can see from all the different Legos and stuff, I do love following directions. Now, this is where I did a lot of my research. I went online and I looked up a whole bunch of different companies that offer that kind of service. And I went ahead and I called and I talked to those people. I tried to get an idea of how much the cost would be. And it was very difficult. A lot of those calls are very sales oriented. They're very pitchy. They're very pushy. They're trying to get you to sign up for their service. So I kind of got a very good idea of what the range of costs would be to have somebody help me do this. So today is the day that I decided that I am going to work with a company called Ecom Hub. Now, like I said, Ecom Hub's not involved in this in any way. They are not paying me. This is not a commercial for them in any way. It's a process that I'm going to try to take on and see how it goes. So I'm not going to be nice. If things aren't going well with Ecom Hub, I will let you know. If it's going great, I will let you know that as well. But according to Ecom Hub, they're supposed to help me with 80% of the work, and I'm supposed to do the other 20%. They're going to help find the supplier for me. They're going to help find the product. They're going to take pictures of the listing. They're going to get me in touch with the supplier and talk to me about how I should go about negotiating with them to set up my product. They're also going to help me get set up with the supplier and the packaging and getting my logo together. They're also going to help me with the listing itself so that when the listing is on Amazon, they'll make sure that it has the appropriate keywords, that it's easy to search, that the listing itself is optimized so that when people are looking for a product like mine, I'm one of the first products that shows up on the first page of searches. They're supposed to help me with advertising, so knowing where and how to advertise my product when it gets launched on Amazon so people are actually going and purchasing it. There's also supposed to be a Facebook group where I can go online and ask questions and see how things are going, see other people asking questions and see if that applies to me as well. There's also supposed to be a mentor or mentors available that are supposed to be able to help me who are currently selling on Amazon right now. They'll have some advice. I can ask them questions and they can have answers. They can make the overall process a lot easier. And finally, I'm supposed to have lifetime access to their group as a whole. So any of the teachings, any of the classes and courses that they have as far as watching videos and seeing how things go, that's all supposed to be available to me. And as soon as they update things or anything changes, I'll have access to that as well. And then finally, one of the things that really appealed to me is that when I am done with this course and I am done getting set up with my first product, as I learn and try to find other products, I can send that to them and have them almost vet it to make sure that it's actually a good product. Now, again, I am not vouching for Ecom Hub. In fact, I don't really know what to expect. I'm just very hopeful. And I took my very first step today. I went ahead and went online, and there is a questionnaire that you fill out. This questionnaire is where you're filling out a bunch of different answers and answering a bunch of their questions so that they decide whether they're going to work with you or not. Now, I've done this with quite a few other companies out there, and they are all pretty much the same. So my next video is going to be about how that call goes, so you can have an understanding about if you wanted to go ahead and hire service or Ecom Hub specifically, you'll have a better understanding of what to expect when you get on a phone call with them. And like I said, I've done a lot of these calls before. They are very interesting. I am very excited to see what happens with Ecom Hub. You know, I already listed all the different reasons that I'm going with them, so I'm just really excited that I finally took this first step. The call is really my intention of signing up with them, finding out how much it's going to cost to work with them, and getting any other additional information they're willing to share. All right, so that's everything I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining. I am really glad that you're here. If you want to learn more and you want to see more videos as they come out, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Hit the bell so you're notified about any additional videos when they come out. And of course, if you learned anything, if any of this was helpful, if you think this is a great idea doing these videos, please hit the like button. I would love to hear from you. Please put some ideas or some thoughts down in the comments. Are you a seller? Are you like me? Are you getting ready to do it and you're just nervous and scared? I'd love to hear from you. And of course, to make my wife happy, here are some more explosions. Thank you so much for joining.